I was first diagnosed with adrenal cancer when I was 18. I was a freshman at Colby College. So I didn't really know that I had cancer until the spring, but I had symptoms all throughout the winter and early spring, and it was just no one knew what it was, and I wasn't home, so my mom couldn't see me, and they didn't know what was going on to the fullest. So I was doing track at the time, but I had to quit because I couldn't keep up because of my physical shape. And so when I went home, I had a CAT scan and they found a big tumor on my adrenal gland. So I had surgery and it was removed. And then I went through radiation and a drug mitotane. So for that summer, I was pretty ill. I was probably sick about 30 times a day, I'd say, for the whole summer. And then I really wanted to go back to school, so I did. I went back to school for my sophomore and junior year, and I was fine. I was recovering. I wasn't on the drug anymore. I was done with radiation, so I felt good. So I was back at school, and then the summer going into my senior year, I took a blood test, and there was a number that was off, so they had to bring me in for another CAT scan, and they found 5 tumors on my lungs. So I had to leave school again for my senior fall, so I missed that, which was the hardest part about it because it was senior year and everyone was there and I had to go home again, so that sucked. But I went to Sloan, and at the time I thought that was the end, like I'm gonna die, like this is it, because they didn't, at the time when I was first diagnosed, there was nothing for me, and I thought that would be the same this time because it was only 2 years later. But fortunately there was a clinical trial going on, so I've been on that every 3 weeks for 2 years now, and my tumors are the size of a pen point, all of them, and I'll be done with the treatment in September.
It was absolutely devastating when we heard our freshman year, and then, once she got the tumor removed and everything was great, everybody was so happy, and when it came back, they didn't really give her much time to live, so to hear that there was this trial treatment for her was one of the best things that anyone could have heard out of any news.
So I was first involved when Dr. Reedy put me in touch, or brought to my attention, the Drew O'Donoghue Fund, and explained it, where it came from and who her patient was, Drew. And so she put me in touch with the parents, so Mr. and Mrs. O'Donoghue, and then after I spoke with them over email, they were talking about the winter event and how I should come and speak, and so then that's when I first became involved. So I spoke at the winter event, and then since then I'm so for it and down to do anything for this fundraiser, and so here I am at the golf tournament, and I plan to do both events every year for as long as I can. So the only thing I can do when I think about it is kind of put myself in Drew's place almost, and just imagining like how my family would be doing this and all my friends, and just like how amazing you all are, and passing on his name and like doing this in his name for both these wonderful events. And I just can't even imagine, and that's all I do. I just think about me in his spot and my family doing this if I were ever to pass away, and like my family is the first thing, the main reason why I fight.
It's great to have a really strong support system, behind you and behind the Drew Fund and behind everyone, and it's just really good to see everyone coming together, even if it's for a really sad reason. It's a good silver lining, that everybody can have a good support system here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just going to these events and seeing all the people that I never even knew like this network existed. When I was first diagnosed, I felt like I was alone because I didn't know anyone who had the cancer. I've never met anyone. I didn't know there were any fundraisers for it because it was so rare. So just knowing that you guys exist is enough for me, because you're raising money for people who need it the most, and you're so selfless for doing that. Even after Drew's passing, it's just so meaningful that you continue his legacy, and you do this for everyone who suffers from adrenal cancer, and that's more than I could ask for. And it puts me in touch with people I met today, so Michelle and Linda, 2 wonderful people that I'm so happy I now know and can reach out to if I need to. So that in itself is enough.